Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Good evening, everyone. Can you all hear me? Okay, I need to be sure that everybody can hear me. Okay. 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 So you can hear me. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I need to share my screen as well. Please let me know if you can see my screen. Um, okay. So everyone can hear me. Okay. Okay. So I'm currently sharing my screen now. I don't know if anybody can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Please let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay. So, good evening, good morning, everyone, from wherever we are joining the section from. Okay, just to be sure that I also need to be sure that um, audible enough as well. Okay, yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good morning. Good afternoon from everywhere that we are joining the section from. My name is Falorunsho Ajala, and one of the facilitator for the data engineering cohort for this program. And who am I? So one of the things that we're going to be doing here on this program is to know ourselves, to network, also to learn as well. As I'm going to be teaching you guys, I also like to also learn from everyone. So who am I? My name is Folorunsho Shojala, and I'm a data analytics engineer currently working with Onyx Data, a consulting firm in the United Kingdom. And also, I'm a certified data analytics engineer with a degree in business administration, passionate about bridging the gap between business strategy and data-driven decision. I have a strong foundation in business management because that is what I studied in school. And also, I have technical expertise across Microsoft Fabric, Power BI, Microsoft Azure, Databricks, and also specialize in designing an end-to-end solution from data injection to transforming to creating data modeling and a whole lot of stuff, right? And when it comes to commitment, I love learning. Leadership is something that I love very well. And also, I think one of the things that I love doing is to, to teach others to also, pass knowledge to others as well. So over the years, at least this is like over 3 years experience now, and I've immerse myself with a lot of technical skills certification from Microsoft, from Power Platform, data analyst associate certification, Microsoft Fabric analytical engineering, Fabric data analytical engineering as well, Databricks associate certification as well. And like I said, have you know been in the industry for more than 3 years, doing a lot of business intelligence, and also I've trained a lot of people as well Have trained a lot of people, whether in the corporate, in the corporate organization, individuals, even senior management, a lot of corporate entities that have trained in all these technical skills that we have here. Also, and I've built a lot of reports, dashboard, and hand-to-hand solution for clients across department, financial, oil and gas, and every other stuff as well. So, and also I have my own community that I started building up, which is a cloud native hub, and also I'm also one of the co-founder of Data Click Educational Hub, where we train people and we give back to the society as well. So thank you. That is all about me. So now let's talk about what we are here for today. So let's talk about what we are here for today. So today we are actually going to be talking about data engineering, right? So I'm very sure that a lot of us are excited. We want to know what data engineering is all about. Actually, I'm not going to be the only person that is going to be, you know, going through this journey with us alone. So I have some my other colleagues' choice, which is going to, join the section who is going to join the section um, um, you know, later on. So I think Choice is going to introduce herself, and she will also introduce the data engineering curriculum that we'll be looking at today. So, okay, Choice is up now. So Choice is going to be up next. So Choice, you can take the floor.
I think I'm muted. Apologies, I think I was muted. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, as Folonsho greeted earlier. How are we all doing? I hope we are doing amazing. So once again, welcome to the data engineering cohorts for this program. And I want to actually believe that we are all here all year in the third week. And I believe then we would also get to know each other much more faster. But before we move on further, let me just briefly introduce myself. So I won't be a total stranger to you once I come in 2 weeks' time. So my name is Choice Ugrede, Chidiogo Choice Ugrede. You can call me Choice, but you will see me everywhere as Chidiogo Choice Ugrede. I'm a data engineer currently with MTN Nigeria, and I've had over 2+ years of professional experience. And the reason why I actually love teaching in cohorts like this is because I know that about, let's say, 50 or 55% of us here are newly transitioning into data engineering field, because I'm of the knowledge that is most likely a beginner section. And I know some of us here already do have the experience in the field, most likely maybe not in the data engineering field per se, but are transitioning into the data engineering field from other data fields available. I just want to let you know that it is a journey that I'm very simple. Not just simple, because nothing is ever simple, but at least I love making it clear enough. And as Falon just said, it's also going to be a learning curve for me as well, expect to get back from you guys too, and I can't wait for that. So as I mentioned, I would be taking you through the introduction to data engineering part, and I'll be taking you through most tools that you would use to excel in this field. Now, when I mention tools, I know that when we hear of data engineering as a whole, there are a lot of tools out there right now. And I know that when we hear of data engineering as a whole, there are a lot of tools out there right now. Exist, but we don't know that beginners in the field, right? So you can see it's not about the tools, it's about the concepts, it's about the process and the why and what you need to, what's the fundamental of what you need to do. Once you get the fundamental right, there is no tool that you won't be able to master. So that's one thing I want to let you know, that if you just pay attention and get the fundamental of what exactly you need to do, with the new tool in trend, or the new tool to make life easier, to make process faster. So I'll be taking you through the fundamentals of every weeks, to get you from, I believe, zero to at least very functional with the field. So that's me for now, and I would see you guys again very soon. So just stay focused, and make sure to ask questions when you do not understand any concepts. I'm sure I'll be happy, and Folon shall also be happy to break it down again to, into a level at which we'll all understand ourselves clearly. So do enjoy the rest of your class, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.
Yeah, thank you very much, Choice, for that introduction and that little encouragement. Please, I need to know whether you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? I need to be sure you can hear me. Please, can you hear me? Can anyone hear me? Okay, okay, thank you very much, my co-presenter. Okay, so I will go over the curriculum once again, just to run us through what we are here for. Um, okay, so I'm going to share my screen now. Um, okay, please let me know if you can see my screen. You can just drop a comment if you can see my screen. Can you all see my screen? Please, can you see my screen? Um, Let me know if you can see my screen. Okay, I think I got a yes, yes, not yet. Yes, I can hear you. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I know you can hear me. Yeah, okay, can you see my screen? Because oh, okay, okay. So I'll quickly walk you through this curriculum. So we have 8 weeks. So we're going to be talking about SQL for data engineering. We'll talk about some basic um, SQL queries. We talk about SQL even for the beginners, for people that does not even understand SQL at all. We are going to break the concept down. So that is what we are going to be doing in the first week. And second week, which is our next week, we'll be talking about data modeling, data warehousing. These are the concepts that you will be hearing. When you are out there, data engineer concept, data modeling, database. We will talk about all these concepts for you. Then in the third week, we talk about introduction to environmental setup, using different data engineering tools like Python, VS Code, Git, command line, version control, different tools like ELT, ETL. We also break those concepts down to you in week 3. Then in week 4, we'll be talking about Python for data engineering, where Choice is going to be breaking down Python fundamental, file handling and API, data manipulation, code quality and configuration. We'll be talking about this. In week 5, we'll talk about data injection, how to ingest data using batch and incremental load. We also talk about database, API, flat files, different things that we're going to be talking about here. We're also going to be talking about automation, how to handle large files, because as a data engineer, it is most often that you work with a big data, right? You want to work with Netflix, you want to work with Amazon, you have to work, the amount of data they are working with is very large. So we need to be able to put you through how to handle a very large data set. So that is what we'll be talking about in week 5. Then in week 6, we'll be talking about data transformation with DBT. Trust is also going to take you that DBT fundamental, talk about modeling management, data validation, transformation implementation. These are the things that you are going to learn in week 6. Then going to week 7, which is the cloud integration and infrastructure as a code. So in week 7, we'll be talking about how to use a cloud platform. We have different cloud platforms like Azure, AWS, GCP. This platform, they are the modern data technology platform that we use. The old technologies was to use your local infrastructure to set up things. But right now, companies, organizations that want to scale are now moving to modern data technology like Azure platform, AWS platform, and GCP. So this is what we'll be talking about in week 7. And also, I think I will need to lay more emphasis on this week 7 because this week 7 is going to require a little effort from us for those of us that want to practice, because this is a cloud infrastructure. It's going to require you to to set up an Azure account, because we're going to be using Microsoft Azure platform for this cloud integration lesson. We're going to be using the Azure platform. So please, during your week 6, we are going to give you an instruction on how to set up your Azure account. So we have normally Microsoft used to usually give 30 days free trial. So you are not paying any money to set up this account. You are not paying any money. The only thing is just that you have to input your card. But I can assure you that they are not going to charge you any amount of money. So after the class, make sure you disable your card after the class. The class is just going to be for like 2 weeks, and they are not going to remove money from your account, and it's a free trial. It's just for you to learn because you can't just be learning all this technology theoretically. We are not in university anymore. This is we are in the industry now. We need to be able to practice what we are doing. Do you understand? So please, we are going to be setting up this Azure. I will give you further information, send you materials to watch on how to set up your Azure. So when it is time to practice, you can also practice along with us. So then in week 7 or in week 8, we are going to be doing a project where we are going to be doing end-to-end project. So please, I will encourage everyone here to make sure that they follow us from the beginning to the end of the class so that you don't miss anything. So by the end of the week 8, at least you should have one project portfolio to your name that you can share. You can show people that, oh, you have really undergone a training with the Incubator hubs, right? So these are the things that we are going to be looking at. Please let me know if you can still hear me and you can see my screen. Please, can you still hear me and you can see my screen? Please, can you still hear me and you can still see my screen? Okay, we just need a confirmation from everyone. Please, can maybe just on YouTube, can you see my screen? Okay, okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. I hope I'm not too fast. I hope I'm not too fast. We have a lot to cover actually, but I hope I'm not too fast. Just to get your response. Okay, okay. Loud and clear. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. All right, thank you very much. Okay, I can see you guys comments on YouTube. Thank you very much. So I'm going to stop sharing. Have showed us how the curriculum that we're going to be covering for this data engineering platform. So we will start with the week 1 now. So and I believe you are going to enjoy the session as well. So let me stop sharing. Okay, so I want to share my screen. Okay. Please, Finny, please help me to just confirm if you can see my screen now. I'm trying to share. I'm trying to bring up my screen again. Okay, thank you very much, Finny, for that. So, hello everyone once again. So let me know if you can see SQL on my screen. Say SQL on the, just type SQL for those of us that are on the YouTube. Just type SQL if you can see SQL on my screen. Just type SQL. Just type SQL if you can see SQL. Just type SQL. Just type SQL if you can see SQL on the screen. Just type SQL. Okay, okay, okay. I need more. I need more. We have over 50 or 50 people on the call. Okay, okay, all right, thank you. So, yeah, we are going to be learning a language today. For those of us that does not know SQL before, if you don't know SQL before, right, we are going to be learning a new language. Interesting, right? You know English, you know Yoruba, you know Hausa, whichever language that you know before. So today we are going to be learning a new language. And what is this language? We call it structured query language, which is what is the universal language for communicating with relational database. It enables you to extract, transform, transform information and load new record, making it essential for data professional analysts. And when it comes to SQL, we use it for what? To create. We use it to read. We use it to what? To delete. And we use it to what? To modify, right? That's what we use SQL to do. That's what we use SQL to do. Now, SQL is, it has been since maybe, since I can't even remember when, SQL has been before I was even born, right? I met SQL. So SQL has been used for a very long time, right? It has been used for a very long time. And now, the first thing is that why SQL? Why are you even learning SQL for data engineering? Why are we learning SQL for data engineering? Now, let me first tell you guys the a little bit history of SQL here for those of us that are very beginner, and maybe for people that are professionals, they just want to relearn SQL. Now, the according to the history of SQL is that as a result of the limitation of Excel, I'm very sure that most of us are very familiar with Excel, right? Excel, when you open an Excel sheet, you'll see that there is a limitation to it. We have about 1,480,000 rows. That is the limitation of an Excel sheet, right? That's the limitation of an Excel sheet. Now, Excel cannot contain more than that record. The next thing you will do is to move to the next page, right? Now we have companies like telecommunication, companies like financial sector that they have a very big data. That how many sheets of Excel do they want to be putting their data into? We can't count them. Maybe 10,000 of sheets. It doesn't make sense for them. It's very stressful for people to be analyzing this kind of data in an Excel because some of these company they have about millions of customers. Some companies have about nothing less than close to billions of customer database, or maybe record when it comes to transactions, right? They have close to billions of record, especially banking and telecommunication company as well. They have close to that. So Excel cannot hold those information, right? So now that is where SQL comes in, because SQL can query more than what Excel can do, right? So that is, one of the limitations of Excel is what brought in SQL. So if you know Excel before, what you are going to be learning with SQL is as simple as, you are just continuing from your Excel, right? So now, the most important thing you should know is that SQL is for 4 major things. Quote me anywhere, right? Like you can ask anywhere. What are the major things we use SQL for? It is just 4 things. And what is the 4 things that we use SQL for? It is for what? To create. We are using SQL to what? To create. We are using SQL to what? To read. To read, to read our files from our database. We are using SQL to what? To update. To update record in our database. Then we use SQL to also what? To delete record. If you have an existing record in your database and you want to delete it, maybe it's no longer useful to you, or you want to modify, you use SQL to do. So in short, we have 4 functions of SQL: create, read, update, and delete, which is called what? CRUD. Why do I call it CRUD? So if you hear CRUD, can you type CRUD in the comment section? If you hear CRUD, can you type CRUD in the comment section? Can you type CRUD in the comment section? That is the 4 functions of SQL. Why did I say that is the 4 functions of SQL? So if you hear CRUD, just type CRUD in the comment section. Just type CRUD in the comment section. CRUD, yeah, good. So that is the 4 functions of SQL. The C stands for create, the H stands for read, the U stands for update, and the D stands for what? Delete as well. So those are the 4 functions of anything that you want to do with SQL. That is what we'll be looking at. Now, I told you that we have functions of SQL. In SQL, we have syntax. We have what? We have syntax. We have the create syntax. When you want to create something, you use the create syntax to create. We also have the insert. The insert syntax, we use it to what? Input record in our database. We have the update. When you want to modify a record, we use what? The update syntax to update our record. And when it comes to we want to remove a record from our database, from our table, we use what? We use the delete to also do that. So we want to make sure that we break this concept down to us, because of some of us that are very, very beginner here, right? So now we are moving to commands in SQL. So what are the commands of SQL? So what are the commands that we have in SQL? What are the commands? We have 4 major commands of SQL. We have 4 major commands. So I want us to type those commands in the comment section. We have the DDL. What did I say? DDL. We have the DML. We have the DCL. We have the TCL. What is DDL? DDL means data definition language. What did I say? DDL means what? Data definition language. We have what? DML. DML means what? Data manipulation language. We have DCL. DCL means what? Data control language. And we also have TCL, transactional control language. Now, to break it down for us, right? I said something that SQL is a language. Most of the time, what you're going to be doing with SQL is that you are going to be writing, just like the way we speak English, we write English. You are going to be writing to SQL, oh, do this for me, do that for me, do this for me, and all, right? That is what we are going to be doing. Now, I want us to understand the command so that when we start practicing, do we understand it very well? When we start DDL is a data definition language. Anything or anytime you want to create something in your table or in your database, you are going to use the data definition language to create it. Anytime you want to update a record, you already have the data in your database or in your table, you want to update it, or you want to modify it, you use what? The data manipulation language, which is the DML, right? The DCL is a control language. For example, I have Collins on the call. Collins is an intern that just joined my company. I am a senior manager in my company, and Collins is an intern that just joined my company, right? Collins does not have enough knowledge of a database, right? And I want to restrict Collins to a certain database because I don't just want to expose Collins to all my company database because he's an intern. Anything can happen. Collins can go and use a drop syntax that he does not know what the drop syntax, or maybe he's even contemplating between drop and delete. And maybe Collins just think, drop. No, you just to, if I drop it, I can bring it back. Not knowing that when you drop, you cannot bring anything back alive in database, right? So I need to restrict Collins to the kind of database he can have access to. So that is where the DCL command comes in. So I'm going to grant Collins an access to some database that I know that, okay, even if anything happens, maybe it's a development database or is a test database. If Collins drop this database, it won't affect the organization. I can't just give Collins an access to the entire database. So I need to give him an access to a database that I know that, okay, at now this is the level or he is, right? So you use the DCL language. And when we talk about the DCL language, we have the grant and revoke. Grant means that what? I'm going to create a username for Collins to access this database. I'm saying, okay, grant Collins access to this database. Let's say maybe after 6 months or after 1 month, Collins is no longer with us, he's no longer in my company again. He is now going to another organization, or Collins is stepping up. I need to revoke the access from Collins. That is where the revoke command comes in under the DCL. We also have the transactional control language. In SQL or in database environment, we don't have what's it called? We don't have a control when you delete something or when you drop a database. So in SQL Server, because in our technical section, we are going to be using a system called the SQL Server, right? So in SQL Server, we have what they call transaction control language. You can use this command to so when you write this command before you start your your work or your transaction. So anything you are doing within the database, they call it transaction. So before you start your transaction, when you put this command at the beginning, right, it helps you to go back and go front, right? You can commit, you can roll back to your whatever you have done. Maybe you deleted something, you want to roll back to that previous steps. You understand? You can make use of this, your TCL, which is your control language. You can hear control language. So those are the commands that is very, very important. See, I can tell you guys for good, if you can master this command, I don't want to sugarcoat anything here. These are questions, these are things that, they are the fundamentals, right? If you understand DDL, you know what DDL is: create, alter, drop, truncate, rename. You know what these things are doing. You are almost 10%, you are almost 10% further in your SQL knowledge already. Data manipulation language is also very, very important. DCL is very, very important. TCL is also very, very important. So please, let's try to understand this concept. Again, DDL is used when you want to create something, when you want to alter your table structure. When I say table structure or I say database, what I mean is that your columns, please let me emphasize on this thing, because this is something that I struggle with when I was learning it. When they talk about data structure in SQL, it is just your columns. What did I say? Your columns. That's just your table structure. Your columns is just your table structure. So when we are using the data definition language, we are just using it to create our table structure. When we start practicing, you will understand it. So you will say, oh, so this is just what you are talking about, and you are blowing grammar like that. That is just it for you. So we are going to do the demo as well. So please, let's make sure that we master this. We have the create function to create a new table, the alter statement or syntax to modify, the drop syntax to drop a database. So I think I've explained the data manipulation already. I've explained data control language already. I'm not going to be explaining this over again, right? I'm not going to be explaining this over again. Okay, so I believe you guys understand, data definition language, data manipulation language, transaction control language. We understand it very well now. So good. So I think I will ask a question, right? I will ask a question. Maybe if someone can tell me. So let's say that I want to give Collins access to a database. I want to give Collins an access to a database. Which of the command are we going to use? So I just want to see your comments. Which command are we going to use? I want to give Collins an access to a database. Which command are we going to use? Which of the command did I mention? I mentioned 4 commands. Which command will I use? Which of the command? Anybody? Okay. I can see this here. Okay. Let me see more response. Let me get more response from us. This here. Someone says TCL. Wow, interesting, interesting. Okay, interesting. DCL. So it is DCL, which is the data control language. So we have the grant. Grant means give access to callings, and when we say revoke, we say remove access we remove callings access as well. So that's what we're saying there. So now, when we talk about the commands, there is something very, very important here. We have what they call the relational database management system. When we talk about SQL don't work in any environment. Just like the way you will become an alien when is so. For example, I know a lot of us on this call, we have different languages that we speak, right? But let's say that you go to a country that is not an English speaking country, right? Let's say a country that is not an English speaking country, maybe they speak just French in that country, and you speak English, and let's even say that it's only English you understand. When you get to that country, you will be feeling so weird. You don't understand how to speak French. To speak there will be very, very difficult for you. The same thing with SQL. You can't just go to any system and start writing SQL there. SQL have its own environment where you can write it. And that is what we have as what? Relational database management system. We have a system where you can write SQL. Hello. We have what? We have system where SQL can, you can write your SQL. And when we talk about SQL is always structured. Is always what? Is structured. You can't use SQL in an unstructured environment. When I say structure, what did I mean? I mean your data must be in what? In rows and columns. What did I say? Your data must be what? Must be in rows and columns in a structured environment. And we have system for them. We have different system. Oracle. We have Postgres. We have we have the SQL Server, MySQL. Different system you can what? You can write SQL. And we have the cloud environment as well. We have Snowflake, we have we have the likes of BigQuery, we have the likes of Synapse Analytics, Microsoft Fabric, data warehouse, all those data warehousing concepts where you can write your SQL. So we have system where you can write SQL. It is not everywhere. You can't go and write SQL in Excel. Even though I think Excel now is now, because of AI integration and everything, Excel is not excelling well now. That even in Excel you can even say Python in Excel. So maybe later on you can see SQL in Excel. So we don't know. So because of AI integration and every other thing, but for now there's a place you can write your SQL, and this system where you can write SQL is what we call the relational database management system. It's a system that and when we talk about relational means something that is related, right? Something related to one another, right? And when we talk about related in this sense, it means that the data we are working with are in one way or the other related to one another. So when we start working, I'm going to show you examples of all this. So like I said, we have different RDBMS system. And some of the example of RDBMS system that has been in existence is what? Oracle, Postgres, MariaDB, we have SQL Server, MySQL. So these are the systems which they are what? They are relational database management system. So for our class, right? We are going to be using SQL Server. We are going to be using what? SQL Server in our class. So I want to give you a task. I want people that is following to tell us different RDBMS system that we have. Just list the different RDBMS system that we have. Just list them. Just type the different RDBMS system that we have. Okay, 7:41. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Okay, I can see Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, all right, MariaDB. Okay, so also I think I need to make some clarification here. Yeah, there are some. We also have a NoSQL database as well. So we have SQL database. We also have no SQL database as well. So I think I missed some because I can see MariaDB. So MariaDB, when you hear of it, is a no SQL. So no SQL means that it acts as when we talk about SQL operates in an environment that the data must be structured. So in some cases, we can have a mixture of both structured and unstructured data. So in that case, you might have to use different database systems like MariaDB, MongoDB, and I think CosmoDB as well. Yeah, so we have those system as well. So I just need to clarify that. So yeah, guys, it shows that you guys are really following. Yeah, thank you very much. So now let's move on to the next thing that we need to talk before we go into the technical or practice section. So we have different data types of SQL. So as beginners, please, we need to be very, very careful, or we need to be conversant with this SQL data type. Maybe from people that have Excel knowledge, you might not pay attention to data types in Excel, but in SQL it is very, very important. It is very, very important, right? So we have a lot of data types. So we have integers, varchar, date, decimal, boolean, char, different data types in SQL, and these are very, very important. Now, when you hear integer, what is integer? Integer is what is like a number. Whenever you hear integer means number, right? But in Excel, sorry, in SQL, we have different numbers. We have bits, we have small int, we have integer, we have big int, we have decimal, we have numeric, we have float. Now you will be wondering that what is the difference between big int, integer, numeric, decimal, float? What is the difference between these things, right? You will be wondering that what is the difference between them. In SQL they mean different things. So the first assignment I'm going to give you, because in my own section we work together, right? We have to work together. So the first assignment I'm going to give you guys today is to go and know the differences between all these data types: bit, small int, integer, decimal, real, numeric, float. You need to go and know the difference between them. We also have the text or string. Your text, like when you say Shola is a name, is a text. When I say six is what? Six is a figure, right? It's numeric. Now, for text or string, we have different data type as well: char, varchar, nchar, text. So you need to go and know when to use each of these data types. What I say? You need to go and learn when to use each of these data types, right? You need to go and learn how to use them. We also have the dates. We have date time, date, timestamp, year. Please, that will be your first assignment for this class. Go and learn. So in our next class, I want to see people that have gone and do their research about this data type, right? So, but let me just give you a clip of introduction to all these data types. Integer is a numeric value. Varchar is what? Is a text. Date is your year, month, and day, your normal month. Decimal, it can be a fixed number like 10.2, 10.4, based on whatever decimal you want. Boolean is what? Yes or no. That is Boolean. Then we have char. Char is a fixed length. Maybe male. You are using, when you say male, you use letter M to define male. You want to fix that text to be 1. You can fix it to be 4 letter. You can fix it to be a very short letter word, right? So that is what we use the chart to do. So these are the things that as beginners we need to pay attention to: different data types in SQL. So I think you guys should be excited to see, okay, let's even see what this thing that you have been talking about. We are not in university again. Let us also see, let's put them in action. Are you interested in seeing how to, maybe for some people that have not even written SQL before? Do you want to write SQL? Let's see. Let me see people that is interested in writing their first SQL. How many people know how to write SQL here? If you know how to write SQL, just type yes. Type yes if you know how to write SQL here. If you have written SQL before, type yes. If you have not written SQL before, type no. So let's see. Let me see the response. Yeah, if you have written SQL before, can you type yes? And if you have not written SQL before, say no. Okay, I'm interested. Okay, if you have not written SQL before, say no. Okay, no, no, no. Okay, okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Yes, yes, no. Okay, we have mixture. Some people have written SQL before, some have not written SQL before. So that's interesting. So let's see. So we're going to be creating our SQL, and I'm going to be explaining all the concepts that I've explained earlier. The data definition language, the what is it called? The data manipulation language. We are going to be talking about them. The data types. We are going to be talking about them, and a lot of things as well that we'll be talking about today. So um let's see how we can write our first SQL. So let's see how we can write our first SQL. Sorry, can anyone see my database? So I'm currently in my database now. Can you see my database? Can you see my database? Type yes if you can see my database. If you can see my database, can you type yes? Type yes if you can see my database. Yes, sir. Okay, you can see my database. Some say no. Okay. Yes, we can see your database. Okay. So, earlier on, I explained different database, right? I explained that we have SQL Server, we have Postgres, we have MySQL, we have Oracle, Access, different database. We even have some database on the cloud, like BigQuery, like Synapse Analytics. On AWS too, we have different database system there. So now, one thing about database is this. So I just want to clarify this with us as well. Some people will start their journey, with Postgres. Some people will start with Oracle. Some people will start with SQL Server, which I'm going to be showing you, right? Some people will start with MySQL. Now, you will now be wondering, you know, am I learning SQL? Am I learning SQL because I started with my SQL? Or am I learning SQL because I started with SQL Server? It is just simple. If you stay in the United Kingdom, like maybe you stay in the UK, or you are in the British, you stay in US, or you are even in Nigeria here, you are speaking English, right? Will you be confused that am I speaking the right English or not? Right? It is still the same language you are speaking. So the environment where you are speaking the language might be different, right? Yes, but the language is the same. English is the same. SQL is the same SQL. So, just to clarify for some of us that are very new, whether you are learning your SQL from MySQL, whether you are learning from Postgres, whether you are starting from Oracle, whether you are using SQL Server to learn, it is still the same SQL. But there is a clause. There is one clause. There is one clause. So what is the clause? The clause is that the way you write things in SQL Server might be slightly different from the way you will write it in Oracle, or the way you will write it in Postgres, or the way you will write it in MySQL. There might even be some rules. There might be some conditions in Oracle or in Postgres or in MySQL that the rule does not apply to my SQL Server. For example, if you go to UK or you go to USA, you will see the way they speak English there, right? They speak American English. Their way, they will even speak some English. You will be wondering that, is it the same English that I know in Nigeria? Even Nigerians, we have our own English, right? For people here in the West, in Nigeria, right? We have our own English. What is our English? Pidgin English. You understand? If you speak Pidgin English in another country, they'll be wondering that this person is also speaking English, right? So there is a slightly difference in our approach to, the way we speak the language. The same way, we have those slightly change, differences. We also have it in our SQL as well. In SQL Server, the way you will write, okay, limit by 5, you don't write limit by 5 in SQL Server. What do? You say top 5. If you go to my SQL, you will see limit by 5, it will work. If you do limit by 5 in SQL Server, it will not work. It doesn't mean that the language is different. No, it is still the same language, but there's a slightly changes because the environment is not the same, right? Now, why will the environment not be the same? The reason is because most of these database systems are owned by different organizations. Just like the way languages are owned by different, we are in different countries as well, right? The languages, for SQL Server is owned by Microsoft. Oracle have their own. Oracle is a company on its own. Postgres, I think, is owned by Microsoft as well. MySQL is an open source. So different, system, and everybody want to be unique as well. I think so. Yeah. So if I'm not wrong, I think everybody want to be unique. If you are using SQL Server, they will say, oh, this is how SQL Server works. If you are using Postgres, oh, this is how it works in Postgres, right? So, you need to pay attention to those little, but it does not mean that you are learning different SQL. You are still learning the same SQL. So I just need to clarify that. So, like I said, we are going to be using SQL Server for our practice, right? So for those of us that want to practice, in case you have SQL Server on your system before, and if you don't have it on your system before, I will send a link to download how to install your SQL Server. I will send a link on how to install your SQL Server. So I will do that for us. Okay. So now let's start. Let's see how we can create our SQL query and all. Now, when you open your SQL Server, right, you can see the environment. This is the RDBMS that we are using. You can see your file. So when you click on file, you can save your scripts. You can click on save to save your scripts. So for example, let me quickly show you something here. So let's say I want to save this script. Let me just say my first query. Let's just say that I just type something here, right? And I want to save this. Let's say I just want to save this, right? I want to save what I type here. Maybe later on I want to continue. You can just click on your file and click on save as whatever you want to save it as. You can save it on your PC. Let me save it on my download here, and I'll click on SQL query 1. I'll click on save. Then I can close it. I hope I save it. I hope I save it. Can we download it on phone? No. You can't download it on your phone. No. You can't download the SQL Server on your phone. No. So if you want to open it, you go to the file, you click on open, you go to file. Let me see. I hope it's saved, Sha. Let me see. I hope it's saved. I'll go to download. Okay, save. Yeah, you can see. So when you click on it, you open it, then you can continue your work. Whatever you are putting here, you can continue. You can't download SQL Server on your phone. Even I don't think you can download any SQL database on your phone unless you are using the cloud, the online version. Yeah, we have online version. I think there is also an online version, just that I don't have the link now. I will have given you the online version for testing. Yeah. But maybe before the class end, I can get you the online version so you can use it to practice along. You don't even need to do any installation, and you still have the same experience. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for asking that question as well. You can, yeah. So okay. So now let's proceed. So now I mentioned something about creating a database, and what's a database? A database is just like is like a folder. I think I always use this as an example of that. Even the word database is a big word to me. I feel like for beginners, for people that are just starting, we should be using simple technologies for them. So database is actually like a folder. Do you understand? And in a folder, What do you put in a folder? You put what? Things that are related together, right? If you create a folder, you put something that are related together. Maybe you went for a wedding party on Saturday, and you create a folder for, oh, this wedding. You put it there. Wedding picture Saturday, 27 or 28th of October. You went to another event. You create another folder, another wedding. You call it Shola wedding. You put all the pictures together in that wedding. You put it in a folder. You put it in a well. Now you have about 4 folders together. Now that 4 folders, all the weddings that you attended in 2025, you now created another folder and call it 2025 folder for your all the weddings that maybe you attended like 10 weddings in a year. You have put them in different folder. Now you now put all those folder in another folder called what? Called 2025 wedding ceremony. Now that folder here in a database, what we call it what? That folder 2025 is called what? It's called a database. Inside the database, what do you have there? What did you have there? What did you have in your database? You have a related information. Why is it related? Why did you, the first thing is that why did you put those pictures, those folder in 2025? Because they are related to one another. They are related in such a way that all those pictures are taken in what? In 2025. So I'm trying to let us understand a database now. A database is what? Is a collection of related data or related information. A database is what? Is a collection of what? Related data or related what? Information. That is database. You put data that are related together in a single database. Now let's see how we can create our database. So in my case here, I have some database. You can see Debbie Maven, Maven Market, Maven Project, Project Management, different database, right? I have different database here. So now let's create our own database for this, our class. I want to create a database. Now let's create a database. How do we create a database? Now, who can tell me, or I want it on the comment section, can you tell me which of the command are we going to use to create a database? Which command? Just tell me, we have 4 commands. Just tell me which command are we going to use to create a database? Which command? Anyone? Just type on the comment section. Let me see our reaction to show that we are following. Let's put in something there. Which command are we going to use? DDL, okay. DDL, okay. DDL, okay. A lot of okay. Stella, Oyinlola, Kenny, okay. Oluwaseun, Emmanuel. Someone say create. Okay, create. Okay, yeah. If you say create, if you say DDL, you are actually right because create fall under it's fall under the DDL has. So we're going to be using the create, which fall under the DDL command. We're going to say create database. So we're going to create a database. So let's call the name of the database. Well, let's call it the Incubator. So that's the name of the database we want to create. You can see, create database. We are telling SQL, this is not like Excel that you will just open your Excel. Here we are commanding SQL on what to do. Create database, the Incubator. Can you see? Now you see that when I'm writing the Incubator, I did not put space here. You can see that I did not put space. You see what I did is that I use what? Underscore. If I put space here, it's going to throw an error. Even if it doesn't show an error, you will not get the right answer. If I try to create this database now, and I say execute, can you see? It's going to throw an error. Now, for beginner, you might not understand because you feel like, what is wrong? I'm doing everything right now. Nothing is not working. Why is it not working? Oh, that tutor did not teach us very well. No, that is not the case. There are some salient rules in SQL, and one of the rules is that you should not put a space in between whatever you are creating. You shouldn't put a space. So instead of having space, you can use what? Underscore. Why did I say you can use what? Underscore, right? You can use underscore. You can use underscore. So let's create this database. I'm going to create it now. So can you see I've created the database. Command complete successfully, completed successfully, right? I've created the database. Now I need to refresh. You can see that no, the database does not exist here. So let's refresh. If you come back here, you will see the incubator here. Can you see? Can you see it here? So that will show you that we have created what? A database. Now we have created a database called what? The incubator. In this database, if you click on this plus icon, you will see different database objects, database diagram, table views, external resources, programmability, query store, service broker. We have different database objects here for your database, right? Now, we have created our database, which is our first database, right? Now, let's create our first table. Let's create our first table. Now, one thing, please, let's pay attention to this, because these are the mistakes that beginners always make when they are working with this RDBMS system for their first time. And you'll find it so difficult that, oh, this thing is not working. Why is it not working? You'll be frustrated. You can spend hours. Sometimes you even get frustrated that you will have to pack it and leave it for like 2 months. I have been there before, right? Because one thing about SQL is that there are some, like how will I even say it? Sometimes I remember when I started like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, a single comma, I think it took me about 3 hours to figure out that time ChatGPT is not, there's no ChatGPT, in the face then, right? So I need to, okay, I was writing an SQL query, just a single comma. I think I spent about 3 hours before I can figure out that it is that comma that's affecting my query. And when I realized, I was just laughing, because I was like, just single comma is a problem. So now, what I want to mention here is that, okay, I think some people want us to go for a short break. Okay, I think some people want us to go for a short break. Finn, do we have break? Are we going for break, Finn? Let me just be sure. Okay, I think some people want us to go for break. Finn, can you hear me? Okay. Okay, so let's just wrap up this. Maybe we'll just go for like 5 minutes break, and okay. Yeah, so we'll go for like maybe 5 minute break. But let's quickly wrap up, this part. Yeah, let's wrap up this part. So now let's create our first table. So let's create a table. Let's create our first table. So I'm going to say create table. No, before you create a table, yeah, I forgot something. So before we create a table, you need to first identify your database, because when you start working, you will have different database. What did I say? When you start working, you will have what? Different database. So you need to identify the database you want to use at this moment, because if not, you will just be using a wrong database, and you would think that you might even be getting an error, right? And you'll be thinking that, oh, what is wrong? So you need to identify the database that you want to use. So I'm going to say use what? Use the incubator. So if not, you will just be writing queries in different database and you'll be getting error. So you need to identify the database. So I'm going to say execute. Can you say execute? Now, you will see that at the top left here, the name have changed from masters to the incubator. You can see. So please, you need to pay attention to that. And if you are using any database system, please pay attention to that as well, because it's similar to one another. Okay, so now we have created our database. We have indicated the database we want to use. So now let's create our table. So I'm going to say create table. So what is the name of the table that we want to create? So let's call it, maybe we want to create a student table. So let's say student. want to create a student called student, right? Now, what are the information that we have in a student table? What are the information? What are the information? You can give us some. Just can you tell us the information that you will find in a student table? Let's type it. Let's drop our comment. What are the information you will find in a student table? Let's see people that maybe some of us that are into in the teaching line, or people that have teach before. What are the information? Someone say employee name. Okay. What else? What else will we find in the student table? What else can we find there? Gender, ID number. For someone that say ID number, that means that person must must know SQL before. Okay. Okay. ID number. Okay. Student name, matric number, course level, good, emails. Yeah, you guys are genius actually. So let's say we have student ID, your matric number. So student ID, right? So student ID, right? Student ID. So that is what? An integer. I mentioned data type the other time. So data type is very, very important, like I said. So student ID, integer. So we have full name. You can have your full name. So full name is what? Is a voucher. So we put 50 voucher. We have email address. You can have your email address, which is also a voucher. So that this can be 100. Email address, voucher. We also have gender. So gender, that is char one. Okay, I think I'm also looking at your date of birth. Okay, date of birth. Someone say date of birth, DOB. That is date. Date of birth. What else? What else? What else? Course title. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, so we'll just leave it for. We'll leave it at customer. We'll leave it as the student information alone, right? We'll leave it as student information for now. So now let's create this table. Let's create this table. Let's create this table. Execute. Can you see we have created the table student. We created the table called what? Student. So let's say select all from student. Select all from student. Can you see? We have what? Student ID, full name, email address, gender, and date of birth, right? We have student ID, full name, email address, gender, and date of birth. That is what we just created. Matric number. Yeah, you are right. Student ID is also matric number. Yeah, for people that are still dropping, information. Yeah, you are right. So we have student ID, full name, email address, gender, and date of birth. Now, if you look at what we just created, so let's assume you made a mistake while you are creating this structure. So when I said structure, when I was explaining, this is what I mean by structure. Your column names, these are your structure, right? This is when you use your data definition. So now let's assume that maybe you made a mistake while you are creating this structure, or maybe you want to add a new column. How do you add a new column? So anything that has to do with creating columns or adding column, you still make use of your DDL, which is your what? Data definition language. You still make use of what? Your data definition. So let's say that I want to add a new column to this. If I want to add a new column, don't say, oh, okay, let me delete all this one and this thing is going to delete here. No. Or let me say, I want to add one more column here. You will not say comma, and you will not say, okay, let me add which column? Let me see our response. Okay, I think I have department. You now say, okay, I want to add department here. Maybe someone else said, okay, let me add department. Department. So you want to add department, you now say department, you now say voucher. You now say 50. Right? So what you now do is that okay, let me remove this one here. So now you now want to run this thing here. If you run this, it's going to throw an error. Can you see? It's going to throw an error. There is already an object name was students in the database. So you can't say, oh, because you missed to add department when you created the first table, you now want to add a department to the script that you have created before. No, it doesn't work like that, right? So that is why we have different syntax under your data definition language. So for you to be able to add the department, right? So for you to be able to add the department, so what you're going to do is that you're going to say, I think I have a question. Someone say, I don't understand the number there. Which number are you talking about? I don't know. The person that dropped a question around number, which number are you talking about? If you can clarify the numbers you mean, I will answer you. What do you mean by a number? So now, to add a new column, we have student ID, full name, email address, gender, date of birth. Now, we want to add department here. How do we add the department? So to do that, we're going to say alter table. Oh, okay. I understand now. So I understand now. So the numbers, what the number means is, I don't want the full name here to be more than 50 letter word. That is what it means. So it is a means of restricting the information that you want in your database, right? The email address, I don't want the email address to be more than 100. The gender, character, I put one here, means that it has to be one letter word. It is a fixed number, is a fixed character. That is what it means, right? And you can say that for integer, I did not put anything, but for integer, there is a limit to integer. There's a limit to integer. So, and I've given you one assignment already. So go and know the different data types. So yeah, I hope I've answered your question. Okay, yeah. Okay, I hope I've answered. So the 50 means is a fixed, is the number of words that can be in that column. It means that full name, if your name is more than 50 letter word, it means that this is going to throw an error. That is what it means. Email address must not be more than 100. That is what it means. So alter table student, alter table student. Then what we say add what? Add department. So let's say department 50, add department. Then let's execute this. Execute. Can you see? So now, if you check your table now, select all from student. So select all from students. Can you see now? We now have what? Department here. Can you see that we now have what? We now have department. We now have what? We now have department. Department is not added before. When we first created it, we now have department. What if you want to remove a column? Maybe a particular column is not supposed to be there. Now you now want to remove that column. How do you remove a column? To remove a column, we just say, so let's say that I want to remove gender. So let's say that I want to remove the gender column. Or let's say I want to remove the date of birth. So you say alter, you use the alter statement as well. Alter table, student, drop column, DOB, right? Date of birth. Command successfully, right? So if you check, if you run this again, can you see? The DOB, the date of birth is no longer here again. Can you see? The date of birth is no longer here again. It's no longer here again. So that is how to add a column and how to remove a column, right? That's how to add a column and how to remove a column. So now let's talk about data manipulation, because all these things that I've mentioned earlier, they are what? They are data definition language. Now, how do we add record into these tables? How do we add record into these tables? So to add a record here, so to add record, we're going to say what? Insert into what? Into student. Insert into student. So we say values. So what are the values that we want to insert here? What are the values that we want to insert here? So we say what? Value. So we have what? Student ID. So let's say our student ID is what? Is 1. Full name. So full name is what? So full name is Adewale Olayiwola, right? Then email address. So email address, I will say Adewale at example.com. Adewale at example.com, comma, gender. So gender, I'm going to say gender is what? Is a male. Then department. Department is what? Data engineering. Data engineering. That's department. Now let's create this. Let's execute this. Insert into student. We want to insert a record into this our table. So let's execute. Now we have a problem. So I want someone that is following to tell us what is the issue, because these are the things that you will be coming across when you start working with database. So we need to know how to troubleshoot, especially for beginners, because I know for some of us that are experts here, you can easily use AI to troubleshoot, but for beginners, we need to understand errors. So who can tell me what kind of errors do we have here based on what I've explained earlier? So what kind of errors is this? Okay, someone said there will be syntax error cause may right. Okay. The gender, okay. The space in between. Okay, someone said the space in between. Okay. Let me see. Let's see more errors, more issues. Why we have a problem? Gender was set to char. Okay. Okay. So now, so that we'll not waste much of our time here. Someone asked me a question earlier, right? That why do we have 100 here? Why do we have 50 here? Why do we have 1 here? If you look at when we define our gender is defined to only contain 1 character. Meaning that if you have more than 1 character here, it's going to throw an error. And that is why you see that even from the error, it's very straightforward. Do you understand? It's not data. We don't have data type error here. What we have is the error we have is the number of character. The data type are actually correct, but we have a wrong. We are putting in a wrong information. So SQL, understand what you are saying when you are defining it, right? So he already told you that, okay, you have a problem in your gender column. So what you are supposed to do here is that this male is supposed to be letter M, because we indicate that this should be 1 character, right? So let's try to execute it now. So can you see 1 row inserted? So let's try to. So let's select. Let's say select all from student. Execute. So can you see? You can see we have what? 1 Adewale Olayiwola, Adewale at example, data engineer. You can see. So the reason why we have an error before was because we put made here. So that was the issue that we have, right? So that is how to insert record, right? That's how to insert a record into your tables, right? If you have more record you want to insert, so let's insert more. Let's try to insert more record. So you can actually insert more record. So let's insert more record. So let's say we want to put, this is two. So let's say Collins Bello. Let's say Collins at example.com, mail, data engineering department, right? So let's have another record, comma. Now, please pay attention to this. Whenever you are writing a text or a string, you must always put it inside what? Inside quotation. So you can see that that's why I'm putting, do you copy and paste, insert and edit? No, I don't copy and, okay. Yeah, I copy, yes. I copy and paste and edit, yeah. So, yeah, you can copy and paste actually. So, yeah, you can copy and paste. So just say 3 here. You don't need this value here again. You don't need this value here again. So this one, let's say Onilola Adedeji. Yeah. Okay. So let's say this is Oyin at example.com. This is female. So let's say this is data science. Data science. So now let's insert this record. So I've decided to record more. So let's select. So can you see? Now we have more than one record. We have Adewale, Collins, Oyinlola, email address, gender, department, and all. Right now. Now, what if, let's say that you want to update a record. So let's say that you want to update a record. Let's say you want to update a record. For example, let's say Oyinlola Adedeji. Maybe maybe you made a mistake in the email address. You can see the email address will start with what? With CO Kwanyi. Maybe you want to write Oyinlola. You now mistakenly, maybe the email address is not actually correct, right? The email address is not actually correct. You want to correct it. So how do you correct this email address? How do you correct it? How do you correct? So who can tell me which command will I use? Which command will I use? Okay, someone said, I noticed you highlight the block of code you want to execute. What happens when execute without highlighting? So if you did not highlight, right? If you did not highlight, because I already have some other code here, it's going to throw an error for me. So what you can do is to comment. If you comment everything at the top here, if you comment them out. So let me show you how to comment. So we have what they call single line comments. So let me show you. We have what they call single line comments. And we have multiple line comment as well. Multiple line comments. So what this means is that if you comment something, it means that this line of code is not going to execute no matter what you do. So for me to be able to run this successfully, I need to comment every other thing that is above it. Like all these one, I need to comment them out. And how do you comment? So to comment, you can use your single line. Single line is what I use here. So you can use single line. So this is single line. Single line is just using double hyphen. That's a single line of comment. If you want to use multiple line, so multiple line of comment, you put this /, then you come down here to where you want the comment to stop. I want the comment to stop here. Your star, then your /. So your comment have stopped here. So now if you execute, so let's say that this is also comment out, right? If you execute, I don't have to highlight anything here. So let's say that I want to insert a new record. Let's say, okay, let me just copy this and paste. So let's change this to, okay, we can have, okay, let's change this one. So let's say this is 4. So let's change this to 4. So let's change this one to 5. So let's have this as Akim. Okay. So let's have this data analyst. Okay. So now I'm going to remove this one to come here. Now I'm not going to highlight this line of code. I'm not going to highlight it now because why? I already comment everything above it. I've commented everything. You can see everything here is what they are in green, right? I've commented it. So I don't need to highlight anything here. So what I will just do is what? I'll just execute. Can you see? 2 role affected. Now, if I execute this, so if I execute this, can you see? We now have what? We now have the two record that we inserted. So that is how to do that, right? That is how to do that. So I was asking a question earlier that which command are we going to use? So what I want to do is that I mistakenly enter some record here. So I want to update the record. Oyinola Adedeji, I want to change the email address to adedeji@example.com. So who can tell me which command are we going to use? Which command? And if you know the syntax that we're going to use, just tell me which command are we going to use? Which command, which syntax? Which command or which syntax are we going to use? Which command? You can just type it. Just type. Which command, which syntax are we going to use? Anyone? I need our reaction. Can you also see my screen? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, someone say update. DML, okay. Update, okay. Yes, okay. Update student, okay. Yeah. You guys are very, very genius here. So we are going to update the table, right? So we're going to say update student, update student. So we're going to say update student. Then we'll say set. So we want to change this email address here. We want to change it to adedeji@example, right? That's what we want to do. So I want to say set email address. set email address equals to adedeji at example.com. Sorry, give me a minute. Sorry. Anita, Anita, please, can you let me tell them? Can you let me shop? Can anyone hear me? Finn, I don't know whether you can hear me. Finn, can you hear me? Okay, okay, you can hear me. All right, okay. Okay. So, let me know if you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Okay, can you see my screen? All right. Okay. 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 All right. So what we want to do here is to update this table. Is to update the table. Is to update the table. So update student. So set email address equals to adedeji at example.com, right? So we're going to say where. So we need to indicate, where exactly do we want this update to happen. So we're going to say where student ID. Student ID is a unique number here. We say where student ID equals to what? Equals to 3. So what we want to change is that we want to change this coin at example.com to adedeji at example.com, right? So where student ID equals to 3. So let's execute this. So can you see one role affected? So let's check. So now if you can see now, we now have what? We have what? Adedeji at example.com. Can you see? We now have what? Adedeji at example.com instead of the other one. So whatever we have before is no longer here again. It's no longer here again. I hope that is clear. Is that clear? Is that clear for us? Do you have any question on that? Is that clear? If you are clear on that update, so let's type yes if you are clear with that update. With the update that we just did. Are we clear with that update? Are we clear with that update? Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, awesome, awesome. So okay. So now these are just the basic things. These are just the basic things Yeah, these are just the basic things that you will be doing. Update. I told you earlier that we have four functions of SQL: to create, to update, to delete, and to what? To modify, right? So we have modified, we have updated. This is how you will be doing it, and how it's very, very easy and very clear. So now let's talk about there is one concept that, or one syntax that is always confusing. There is this syntax that a lot of beginners always find it very, very confusing. We always find it very, very confusing. And what are the syntax? We have drop, or let me know, maybe from the comment. Let's see. Maybe for people that already have the experience. So let's have drop, truncate, and delete. You can tell us, maybe for people that have experience before, people that have written SQL before, you can tell us the difference between drop, truncate, and delete. You can just type your response in your. Don't use AI. If you use AI, I will catch you. If you know the difference between drop, truncate, and delete, you can just type your response in the comment section. Just type your comments. Delete, truncate, and drop. What is the difference between them? When do you use them? Delete, truncate, and drop, delete, and truncate. So let me hear from us. Don't use AI. Don't go and put my question inside AI. I will know. So let me hear from us. What's the difference between drop, truncate, and delete? Drop, truncate, and delete. Drop, delete an entire table. Okay. Drop, delete an entire table or database. Okay. That is in Manuela. Okay. So what would truncate do? What would truncate do? Manipulation. Someone say manipulation. Drop, delete table. Okay. So what is delete itself? Drop, delete an entire table. So what is, if you say drop, delete an entire table? So what does delete itself does? Delete, remove record. Okay. What about truncate? Okay, I think I've seen response on drop, delete. So what about truncate? Truncate deletes a data in a table. Remove. Okay, truncate delete all rows, but the table still exists. Okay, yeah, you guys are very genius. Actually, you guys are very, very genius. So yeah, it is very, very important that, see, all these little syntax is very, very, you understand them from the beginning. Do you understand? It's very, very important that you understand them from the beginning. So with the drop, truncate, and delete, they look alike. They look alike, but their behavior is not the same. Their behavior is not the same. So I'm going to show you an example. I'm going to show you an example. So when we say delete, we have truncate, and we have drop. So let's start with delete. Let's start with delete. Let's start with delete. So what does delete do is that delete is a data manipulation language. What did I say? Is a data what? Data manipulation. Delete is a what? Is a data manipulation language. And what it does is that it's going to delete a record. It's going to delete a record. For example, what we have here, student, this each record we have, each line of rows is a record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are what? These are record. What did I say? These are what? These are record. They are record. We have record here, right? So if you want to delete a record, you use the delete statement. So how do we do that? I would say delete from student where student ID equals to, let's say, 3. If you execute, so let's see. Can you see that the student ID 3 is no longer existing? It doesn't exist again. So we have deleted the student ID 3. Now it doesn't exist anymore. You can see it doesn't exist anymore. So now let's move to truncate. Truncate. What will truncate do? So let's move to truncate. So truncate is not going to delete your table structure. Hello? Truncate is just going to delete the record. All the record that you have inside here. All this record. Truncate is going to remove everything. It will leave your table structure for you. That's what truncate is going to do. And how do you do that? You say truncate table, student, truncate table student, execute. If you run this table now, you will not see anything inside it again. Can you see? There's nothing here again. You can see. Nothing exists again. But if you say drop, drop table, student, what this means is that whether you have, okay, before I drop it, let me put a record inside it back. So let's insert record here. So I've inserted some record back. So now let's check. Select all from students. I think this this database has been, I think I ran everything before, so it has affected this as well. It has affected it. So you can even see now the database does not exist. You can see it's saying that the invalid object name student, it doesn't exist again. If you refresh now and you go to your database, you go to the incubator, you go to tables, you see that the table does not exist again because it has actually dropped. But let me create it again and do it all over again so that you can see. So what I have to do is to create this table again. I have to create this again. Incorrect status near the comma. Okay. So we have created the what? The database now. I've created the database back. So the table back now. I've created the table back now. So let's execute the table. Let's see. So we have the student ID, full name, email address, gender, date of birth, and I think we dropped the date of birth at a point. Yeah, we drop it. Okay. So now let's insert a record inside it. Okay. So let's just insert two more records. So you can see we now have record inside it. So let's check this out. So you can see now if you use the drop statement. So if you use the drop statement, what is going to happen is this: execute. If you use the drop statement, if you now do select all from student, the table will not show you the table again because you have already dropped the table. What did I say? You have already dropped the table. The table will no longer exist again, right? So you need to know the difference between drop, truncate, and delete. So they are two, they are differently used. So you need to know when to use each of them. So do we have any question? Any question? If you have any question, we have just 15 minutes left. So if you have any question, just drop your question. Drop your question. I will look into it and I will. Undo doesn't work. Yeah, nothing like undo. Yeah, we don't have anything like undo. Yeah, undo. There's no undo. So if you have any question, we have just few minutes left. So please, if you have any question, just drop your questions. And wow, you guys say no question. Wow, is it that you guys understand everything or what? So any question? No questions, right? This is serious. He said this is serious work. Don't worry. When you get used to it, you will know how to how to be careful. So you just have to be careful. Actually, you just need to know how to be careful, right? You need to be careful when you are writing your queries. You are writing everything. Okay. So if there is no question, I think we are good. Maybe we can move. Let me check my slide. Maybe we can move ahead today. So okay, I think I'm going to give you maybe the second assessment or the second assignment is that I want you guys to. So the second assignment is that I want you to create a database and a table. You can create any database of yours. It can be any database. That will be your second assignment for today. So create a database and a table, right? So inside that table, make sure that you had at least 20 record inside the table. At least 20 record. Maybe I'm going to I'm just trying to explain, but I will also pass the question to you, maybe via email or I don't know, or via your LMS system, right? You can see the assignment there, right? So the assignment is to create a database, student database. It can be any database, right? It can be any. You can use any database. You can use Postgres. You can use Oracle. Use any database that you know, right? Create a database. Insert at least 20 records inside that your database. So that will be your second assignment. Yeah, that will be your second assignment. Okay, I think we still have like few minutes left. So probably we can do something. Okay, so let's move on to understanding the SQL order of execution. So today we'll just talk about the concepts. I'll explain the concepts. So tomorrow, when we are having our class, we'll start um with the demo, with the practice part of it. With the practice part of it. So what is SQL order of execution, right? Um, we need the link you say you will share. Okay. If I'm going to share that link now, I think I might have to stop sharing my screen so that I can get that link. I know I have it somewhere, but I don't know where the link is. Probably you guys can just give me. Um, okay, let me look for that link so that everybody can practice one or two things, right? So just give me some minutes. Let me try and look for that link. Yeah, let me look for that link and share it so that I don't, or maybe after the class. I don't know. Maybe after the class, maybe via your LMS system, you will get it there. I don't know which one is better. I don't know which one is better. Should I share the link now or after, or you get it via your LMS system? Which one is better for you guys? Um, okay. Okay, so let's continue. Anyway, let's continue. Yes, your assignment. Yeah, I think you will submit the assignment. I think there's a way you can submit on your LMS system, I believe that have been shared with you. LMS is not working. Okay. Okay. Let me just give me a minute then. Let me look for the link and share with you. Let me look for the link and share with you guys then. So just give me some minutes. So don't go yet. Um, okay, so let me just look for the link and present stop stream. Okay. Sorry, Fee. I just need to get a confirmation. Have I stopped sharing my screen? I just need to be sure I'm not sharing my screen at the moment. Fee, am I sharing my screen or am I not sharing? I just need to be sure of that. Okay, I just want to get the link where they can um where they can access. I want to try and look for the link where they can. Okay, all right, thank you. I need to be sure of that. So I want to try and get a link where they can access SQL Server, where they can practice online. There's a particular website that does that. So let me try and get. Since they say the LMS system is not working, um, let me let me try and get that for them. Okay, so can't remember. Okay, I think it's what else? SQL. I'm trying to get. It's been a while I visit. It's been a while I visit the website, so I'm try and get where I put the link. Okay, so just give me a minute, guys. I'm still trying to get the link. Trying to see where I put the link. Okay, application expenses. I know I put this link somewhere. So that I cannot remember where I put it. Okay. Let's see. Let's go down. Task. Let's see. Scroll. Scroll task. Okay, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it. So let me just. Let me just copy the link for us. So let me see how I can access it. Okay, so let me see how I can drop the link for us. Actually, I don't know how I can get the link across on. Is it possible for you to help me to send the link if I send it here on YouTube? I don't know how I can. Okay, I should send it to you. Okay, fine. Okay, I've dropped the links with you. Just copy it and paste. I will share my screen as well, just to show them how the environments work. So let me share my screen now. Okay. 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 So guys, you can copy the link for that ID that I share with you. So that's a cloud. Is a cloud. Is a cloud environment that you can use if you don't know how to, maybe you just want to test things out, right? So if you click on that link, it will take you to this website. I hope you guys can see my screen. Finn, can you see my screen? Am I displaying my screen now? Can you see my screen now? Am I displaying my screen? The same link have been dropping since. Okay. Can anyone see my screen? Okay, someone say yes. Okay. What about others? We can see your screen. Okay, so it's fine. So if you click on that link, right, it's going to take you to this website. Is an IDE. So you can see different database here. You can see SQLite, DocKB, PGLite. So the one that I'm using is MSQL. That is Microsoft. So that is the one. So you just connect to the database and you can do your stuff there. You can practice. You can use it to practice. You can use it to practice. So I think you can also connect some other database to it. But I'm using the Microsoft SQL Server. So you can connect, click connect. This is a demo database. It's always deleted after 3 hours of inactivity. Yeah. So click on OK. Click to close. So you can see. So you can create your database here, right? You can create your database here. You can switch. You can see which of the. So select all from. If you run this, it's going to super clean. Okay. So this is the environment anyway. This is the environment anyway. Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys, everyone. So this is the environment. It's been a while I use this website, so I'm not really that familiar with the environment like that. But you just come here. Okay. Let's see one or two things we can do. Um, so let me disconnect and connect it back. Okay. So let's say we want to create create database, students. Let's run and see. Error, permission denied in database master. Okay, why does that throw an error? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's create a table first. Let's see. Let's create a table. Create table. So let me just copy everything that I created here in my SQL. Let's just copy everything here. Let me copy everything here, and let me put it in my online database here. So let's paste everything. So create table, student ID, blah blah. So let's run. Can you see? This one has been created now. Can you see? Students. Can you see? Everything that I did here is now I can do it on the website, the one on the website as well. You can see students I've created. You don't need to create a database here because so basically this IDE that you are using here is not as strong as the one you have here. So this one is just for you to practice. So don't think that it is robust like that. It's not robust like that. It doesn't even have a lot of capability that this one that I have here have. It doesn't have it. So don't think that because I do something and it's working fine, if you do not get it here, it might be as a result of what you are using here, because this one is a free version and is a website, is on the cloud. So even so they might even be prompting you to pay money for it, but we are not telling you to pay money for anything. It's just because you don't have access to it at the moment and we want to provide you an environment you can use to learn and play around. So that is why we are doing this. So I hope you understand that. So okay, so you can explore everything that I've told you earlier on this on this page, right? You can explore, create. You can see we have created the database. Can you see student ID, full name, gender, everything that we have created is here. So it's already 9 o'clock. So let's. I don't want us to spend much time. I know a lot of us want to go and go and take a break before. So I don't want us to take much time here. So by God's grace, tomorrow we'll continue with our SQL. We'll continue with the you know orders of execution with SQL. So Fee, I don't know if um, okay, yeah. Rounding up already. Thank you very much. So is there any question? Do we have any question from anyone? Any question? Do you have any question? Do we need to download the Microsoft SQL? Yes, you can download it if you want to explore, if you want to practice on your own. Yeah, it's better for you to download it than using the cloud, because the cloud one is not robust enough, right? There might be limitation to what you can do and what you cannot do. Yes, you can download your Microsoft SQL Server. Yeah, it's recommended. For the assignment, you can use the cloud. You can use the cloud IDE for your assignment. That one is sufficient. Just take a screenshot of your assignment and maybe you will post it on your LMS system. Just take a screenshot. Yeah, just take a screenshot. All right. Okay. So thank you guys for everyone. Thank you everyone. So we'll see you again tomorrow. And God bless and stay safe. Make sure you watch the recording. And if you have any question, you can reach out to me. Probably via the LMS system. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you very much, Finn. I really appreciate it.